As the NFL Combine comes to us next week, one of the questions that I think we're going to talk about is Travis Hunter and what can be expected of him in the NFL after the NFL draft comes, and how you should be reading mock drafts, but more than that, how you should be thinking about Travis Hunter, especially after what he was able to do at Colorado. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you like what you're watching, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's following on X or Blue Sky or Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is that you are into. Just lets folks know that you like the show, and join the 131,000 folks that are members of this community. And why don't you drop me a comment below? Do you think Travis Hunter should play both ways in the NFL? I know that is an open question, but that's how you like to do a talk show, right? It gives you a lot of different angles to go on. But my first answer to this is yes, he should play both ways in the NFL. And that also is answering the other question, could he play both ways in the NFL? Yes, clear and obvious. And I wrote about this at foxsports.com for those of you that are interested in the column. But essentially, it comes back to what we know about Travis Hunter. He has become the only player in the history of the 155 years of us playing this sport to have a 1,000-yard receiving season, at least 10 TDs and multiple INTs. And then he did it a step better. He caught 96 passes for 1,258 yards with 15 touchdowns and had 4 interceptions. No other player in the history of the sport has done that. He won the Biletnikoff Award, which is given to the nation's best wide receiver. He won the Bednarik Award, which is given to the nation's best defensive player. And he won the Heisman Trophy, which is given to the sport's most outstanding player. That he was not even a finalist, let alone won the award for the best defensive back in the country in the Thorpe Award, would be a joke if it was funny. But it's not funny. It also underscores the political aspects of these awards, man. It's one of the things that I really enjoy talking about, as I've got to participate in the voting of these things and also be able to put them together with guys like Al Golden winning the Broyles Award. He deserved it, and I'm happy for him. But that list was mostly unassailable, right? Until we get to start talking about, okay, who played for the national championship? Well, Notre Dame made it there, so you get it, right? Al Golden, best defense coordinator there. And frankly, you didn't have an Ohio State coordinator there to vote for, because the guy that I thought probably had a chance to win it, Jim Knowles, didn't receive enough votes. That said, the nominations were fine, right? The nominations were fine. I didn't see the nominations as being fine when I looked at what the Thorpe Award had done. And you know that. I've done that segment. I've done it repeatedly. But I needed to say that, because when people look back at this on history, they're going to be like, y'all some fools. And be like, nah, not all of us. Not all of us, dogs. They was over there on something else. Then you take into account nobody has been able to walk it and talk it like Travis Hunter has walked it and talked it. Like my daddy used to say, ain't nothing to it but to do it. That's what Travis Hunter has been doing. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. He wanted to play both ways. He's played both ways. Prime, who has been famous about what he allows and doesn't allow, y'all still don't know how to read this man. That's a black daddy. Like that's just what it is. Not too long ago, Prime told a story about a player coming up to him going, I want a single digit. And he said, you ain't no single digit player. You ain't been playing like no single digit player asking me for a single digit. Because single digits are sacred, right? That's why we call them single digits. You don't just hand those out. You want to wear the number 1? Dog, you're going to have to earn the number 1. It's like getting that C. I ain't giving it to you, right? You're going to have to go take it. Travis Hunter went out there and took it. I think that's important, right? His confidence, the way in which he moves about the world, that's important. That he feels not only that he can do it, but that he doesn't want to play the game any other way. I'll take it a step further. He did all that and kept a 4.0 GPA. And I realize that already some of you are making excuses. Some of you are going, did you really study a real for a real degree? Let me tell you something, dog. All degrees are made up. Stay woke. I got more degrees than most of the people that watch this show. They're made up. They are a ridiculous and stupid way for us to all go into debt so that we can prove to somebody out there that we can finish something. That's it, dog. If I could do it all over again, I don't even know that I would go to college, man. I would be doing something else. And this is for a man that left a PhD program to do this, right? Even so, getting real degrees versus not real degrees, how many of y'all got 4.0 GPAs in college and you got a fake degree, if you will? I mean, some of y'all be going to diploma mills, you still ain't getting no 4.0. He did that while playing football both ways. Also, the first 5-star and number 1 overall recruit, since we're adding that, to commit and play for not just an FCS team, but an HBCU and help put them on the map once again, right? We had talked about great players coming out of Jackson State since Walter Payton and them in the 1960s. You know, like it's been that way. They one or two, but guys that are meteoric, like Hunter, like Shedeur, hasn't really happened. People are also saying he's going to get injured if he plays that many snaps. He played 1,458 snaps last year. And yes, he did get injured. He got injured a year before, right? Took a hit, lacerated liver. Last year, aggravated his shoulder trying to make a play, and still came back, finished the season. The injury rate is undefeated in football, right? But it didn't stop the Atlanta Falcons from drafting Michael Penix Jr., right? And you're not talking about Travis Hunter with the same sort of injuries that you talk about with Quinn Ewers, who's had an ankle injury and a shoulder injury and has missed multiple games in back-to-back seasons. And frankly, he didn't even have the same injury history as Shedeur Sanders, who had a fractured back at the end of 2023. But people don't want to talk about that, right? The 50 sacks, they add up too, dog. You have to be able to talk about what he's been able to do, given the workload that he has put out for himself and the conditioning that this man is in. Like, Prime ain't gonna let you be out there being unconditioned. That's just not gonna happen. And he has seen the work ethic, and he's seen how badly he wants it, and he sees the prodigious talent. The boy's soul is in playing wide receiver. Prime said that 3 years ago. Like, he said everybody thinks he's a great defensive back. I know he's a great defensive back. You know he's a great defensive back. But his heart is in playing receiver. So when he got a chance to do it, he showed out, man. He want to do both. He want to go all the way. Should you play him every snap of every game? Probably not. Probably. Because nobody's more skittish than the NFL about upsetting star players by getting them injured, right? But if you're looking for a comp, I really do think you got to start with Derrick Henry. For those of y'all that remember this, Derrick Henry somehow fell into the second round. He fell in the second round after having rushed for at least 2,400 yards in every single season he played in high school, including 4,261 yards, 55 rushing touchdowns at Yulee his last year. Stupid. Okay, he did that at a small school in Florida. He can't do that at the University of Alabama. Oh, really? In 2015, Derrick Henry won the Heisman and Alabama won the national championship, behind him rushing for 2,219 yards, 395 carries. Okay, well, a lot of tread has been taken off of him, and he can't do that in the NFL. Derrick Henry's in year 9 last year with the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry had 1,921 rushing yards, 2,100 yards from scrimmage last year. Have y'all learned your lesson yet? Y'all really got to stop sleeping on these dudes that be being superheroes out here for high school and college, being like, nah, he can't do that in the NFL. Shohei Ohtani. That dude got to Major League Baseball and said, you can't pitch and hit. His last year as a pitcher and hitter, 2023, that man batted .304. He hit 44 home runs. He drove in 95 RBIs, and he stole 20 bases. Last year, first year that he didn't pitch because he couldn't, blew out that shoulder, or that elbow. They didn't want him to re-aggravate it. He became the first player in history to have 60 home runs and 60 stolen bases, and the Dodgers won the World Series. LeBron James got in here at 18 years old, 2003. He ain't going to do much. They all flame out. He another Darko Milicic. 4 NBA titles. 4 MVPs. That's one more MVP than Michael Jordan got. What are we doing here? Deion Sanders. Only man to play in the World Series and the Super Bowl, and he got 2 Super Bowl rings. This is the kind of company that Travis Hunter is keeping. Now, a SWAC championship is not a Big 12 championship. It's not a national championship. Hunter still got to do that, but that's less in his control than you might think. What I think is more important, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this segment is, when are y'all going to start learning betting against that man is a great way for you to lose your money. Bet on the dude that's been producing at every level, doing it his way.